professor at the University of Notre Dame is suing an independent student newspaper that reported on her alleged pro-abortion activism. The sociology professor says the Irish Rover depicted her as an abortion rights activist. She says 2 articles led her to face threats and harassment. The paper responded in an editorial earlier this week and said in part, quote, "We will not be silenced." And we go now to Joe Dereuil, a rising senior at Notre Dame and editor of the Irish Rover at the time the articles were published. Joe, great to be with you today. We appreciate it. Quickly, give us some background on the reporting for these articles and how some of the information regarding Professor Tamara Kay came to be.
Yeah, absolutely. So the story really started last summer after Roe v. Wade was overturned, and it became clear that Indiana was going to quickly pass a law banning most abortions in the state. So there were a couple of professors at the University of Notre Dame who began loudly advocating for abortion rights, most notably this professor Tamara Kay, who you just mentioned. She was advertising through social media, through a sign on her office door that said kind of euphemistically, if you need help with access to all or any health care, like please contact me. And also through some public advocacy through various panels and op-eds that she was speaking at and writing. So pretty much last October, I collected all this information and interviewed her to kind of understand what was going through her mind with this advocacy that she was conducting on campus. So I published all of that in an article last October, on October 12th. Which proceeded to kind of blow up in the national sphere. I think the Register wrote a piece about it, along with probably a dozen or 2 dozen other national publications.
Yeah, and I understand, she filed a defamation suit against the Irish Rover, stating that the reports falsely attribute statements to her that are defamatory per se and establish a willful intent to portray her in a negative light. I want to get your reaction to that.
Yeah, so I guess there's 2 aspects to that question. First of all, I was very confused and surprised when I learned that she was filing suit when I got the letter in the mail. First of all, because I didn't think that I was presenting anything other than what she had explicitly said. Like it seemed that I was just taking what she was saying and amplifying it to a different audience. So I read through the lawsuit, and actually it says that my article, October 12th, it alleges that it's defamatory. However, it doesn't even cite specific language that she objects to or any claims that she thinks is false. So really, I'm not sure what exactly she's going after in that article. The only claims that she does cite explicitly as claiming they weren't said or were said differently actually come from a different article that reported on her lecture that she gave for the College Democrats last spring in early March. So in that, she objects to the wording of a couple statements, which, yeah, at first gave me pause. I was like, oh no, did we miscite her? However, after I and several other people and many journalists now in the last week have gone over the recordings, compared our writing to what was said in the lecture according to the recording, and while maybe 1 or 2 words here or there are wrong, we didn't change any meaning of what she was saying. And yeah, it conveyed like the exact same sense. So I guess on both accounts, I'm not exactly sure about the basis of this lawsuit or what she's trying to accomplish by it.
Joe, we have about a minute left or so. Quickly, I do want to get to this. I understand your newspaper is planning to countersue with a so-called SLAPP motion that protects the silencing of news outlets from lawsuits that it considers frivolous. Quickly tell us more about that. And also, if you had the opportunity, in light of all of this, the lawsuits, would you do this again?
Yeah, absolutely. So we just filed yesterday, actually, an anti-SLAPP motion, which essentially attempts to dismiss the case before having to go through court, because after looking over everything, it seems there's no merit to this lawsuit. So we want to just put it behind us as quickly as possible. And as to your question, would I do it again? Absolutely. I think that it's important to have individuals who are willing to find what's true and put a spotlight on it. And I was blessed, I think, to be put in a position that I could do that. So I'm very grateful for the situation. I hope all goes smoothly with the lawsuit. But even with that impending in the future, I don't regret any of my writing or any of my actions.
Well, Joe, we're going to continue to follow this. Thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate it. And thank you for your reporting.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.